Throughout the course of history, once in a while a bright mind would rise to bend the will of people everywhere according to his interest and conquer the world. All of them, including Alexander the Great and Salahuddin, used tactics, technology, and negotiating skills beyond comprehension for their societies and respective time periods. 3 years ago, Dr. Dubois requested and received permission to examine Napoleon Bonaparte's skull in order to discover any possible medical problems that would better help us understand his thinking and behavior. He was looking for gland anomalies when he saw a very small incision in the bone. What he found defies scientific explanation to this day. The researchers could only guess the object's nature and provenience, because it is much smaller than any human fingertip and has no electrical components or wiring. Napoleon's skull grew around the strange object, so one thing researchers could conclude is that it was probably inserted in his head during his youth years, we assume during his stay in Egypt. France's mightiest leader never spoke of this to anyone and no written history of it was ever found, so researchers began to dig through records of his travels, hoping to find places and circumstances where he could have had an encounter with alien representatives. First, there was a local uprising in 1794, when a 25-year-old Napoleon disappeared for a number of days and told everyone upon returning that he was held prisoner. The microchip, if that's what it really is, could have been first installed then and later upgraded or repaired, or his body might have been only subject to compatibility testing at first. Most cases of alien abduction are not singular, meaning that the subject is usually abducted and studied not only once, but many times. Like wildlife experts put tracking and recording devices on animals for research. UFOs have been known to appear over conflict zones, and some believe he was chosen during the rebellion of the period, by extraterrestrial forces, to somehow stop the violence. Pretty wild guess. After this bizarre disappearance caused by a possible abduction where he got the microchip and mental enhancements, Napoleon, his birth name, his parents were Italians from Corsica, went on to lead great armies, become Emperor of France and have Europe at his feet in just a few short years. But before he would proclaim himself emperor, he would face another encounter, this time spoken of by some of his troops, though he specifically ordered them not to, when he was still just a general leading the French army and fleet into Egypt.